So this is how I started my sewing journey. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Sewing with Chelsea. And in today's video, I am going to tell you my story of how I started sewing. So on this channel, we talk about all things sewing, buying fabric, honey, all the things. And right now, I am just re-embracing my sewing journey and I'm having fun doing it, honey. So we're gonna go on this adventure together. So let me tell you about my story of how I started sewing. I was in the second grade. Yeah, second grade. How old was I in the second grade? What are you, 7, 8? So, yeah, I think I was like 7. But anyway, whatever age you're in the second grade. But anyway, me and my sister, it was just 2 of us at that time because my baby sister was born in 96. But anyway, we went to the girls club, which is still in existence today, I think. I know you guys heard of the girls and boys club or the boys club. Well, they actually have the girls club. And me and my sister, we went after school. What they would do is just pick us up at our school. And we would go there until about 4 or 5 o'clock. So anyway, that was like some of the best times of my life. I had a good childhood, but I used to love going to the girls club. And anyway, they kept us busy after school. You know, we had homework time as soon as we got there. So you had to do your homework. And they had the tutors to help us, the teens and everything like that. Because it went from like, you know, elementary to high school. So, they helped us with our homework. We all did our homework. And then after that, we had free time. And then we had craft class. Now, craft class wasn't every day. But craft class, it was, y'all know the crafts, the arts and craft class, where you just make different things. Of course, you make the birdhouse with the bird seed and the peanut butter. I think everybody made that. And we also had sewing, but we had different types of arts and crafts. So, you know, it was a lady there. Her name was Miss Betty. She was an older white lady, and she was kind of like the down-to-earth white lady, though. But anyway, she would spoil me so much. She would spoil me rotten. Whatever I wanted, all I had to do was pitch a pity party and she would just be right on. I was manipulative. But no, I was her baby. But anyway, so we had to take a sewing class. And I did not want to do it because I thought old ladies do that. And I'm like, honey, I'm in the second grade. I just can't be doing this. And, I did not want to do it. I wanted to go outside with my friends. We would rather just be outside talking and just being girls on the swings. So she did not, because some things she would just let me get out of, If I say, Miss Betty, I don't want to do this, or, be, a little brat. She'll be like, okay, Chelsea. And then I could go in there and sit with her, or I could just do what I want to do or get on the computer. Because back then they had this, the Beauty and the Beast game on the computer. And I love that game. So I would want to do that all day. And then, hang out with the girls out on the playground. So this class, she made me do the sewing class. I pitched a fit. And she said, you know what? Get your hips in front of that sewing machine. Sit your hips down in this chair and you gonna take this class, Chelsea. And she was very stern with me that day. And I'm like, I had to clutch my invisible second grade pearls because she never been that stern with me before. And so she was like, Chelsea, you're gonna take this class. She said it's gonna be very good for you. And she said every young lady needs to know how to sew. I'm like, not me. I was always a smart aleck. But anyway, she made me take it. And what we made was a pillow. Little pillow. I had this pillow ever since college. I threw it away eventually because I was like, okay, Chelsea, don't you think it's time to kind of let go? But I had it up until college. and it was a little pillow, and I remember the colors. I wish I had a picture, but it was red, white, and it had like green roses. It was kind of like that quilting print material, and then the back it was like white and red polka dot. But I love that pillow. And so, you know, I sewed it. You know, we did it in class. And I was like, I felt so in control. I'm like, I really created this. And Miss Betty, you know, I was like, Miss Betty, oh my God, I'm so excited. I made this pillow, look. She was like, yeah, I told you would love it. That's why I made your little butt take this class. And I just felt so, empowered. I'm like, I made a pillow. You know what I'm saying? And I was in the 2nd grade, so I was a kid. And I was just, the feeling that I felt above all else was empowered. Empowered that I'm able to make my own item. And that took my imagination, because I've always been a creative child. That took my imagination to another level, even at that age. And so fast forward, you know, I started sewing by hand because I didn't have a sewing machine or anything like that. Like, I was interested in it, but, you know, well, probably nowadays, but I know my parents didn't feel comfortable with, and I didn't express interest that much to have a sewing machine on my own. So, you know, I just hand sewed every now and then. And then I stopped. And then when I got in middle school, I got heavy into sewing. I sewed a lot of things. I started a lot of trends as well. But that's when I was sewing. And when I was sewing, it was hand sewing. And, my hand sewing skills were immaculate. Probably not anymore, because I don't have to hand sew anymore, and I try to avoid it. But hand sewed everything. And then, so that was middle school. And high school, I got crazy with it too, but just like my freshman, maybe sophomore year. And, you know, junior and senior, just as needed. So if I needed to hem my pants or something like that, I just hand stitched them. But I wasn't sewing any fashion, because, honey, I was just busy being the girl. I was just busy, honey, just being a teenager, honey. So, and I stopped. I didn't do it as much. And then when I got to college, I really didn't do it that much. I really didn't have time. I was busy partying, living my best life, honey, with my little booze and all the things, and I just didn't have time. And so when I came back home to Atlanta from school, that's when I moved out from with my mom and my dad, because I stayed with them when I got back. And then I got my own place. And yeah, that was okay. Yeah, so my mom and my grandma bought, for Christmas, they bought me a sewing machine. And it was just like a miniature sewing machine. It was enough to do something with. So that's when I just went crazy with sewing. And it was around like the 2009 era, 2010, where like the bandeau tops were in. So I just made my own bandeau tops. I made dresses. I just made a lot of stuff. And you know, throughout my 20s, sewing was just like off and on for me. And but it was always a constant. And yeah, that's pretty much my sewing journey through the years. And now fast forward to, I started re-embracing it at 35. I just turned 36, honey, August last month. But anyway, that's when I really decided to like stop playing and just get back into it. I started having more time. Because the thing with sewing, you have to have time. Because sewing one piece could take 5 hours, okay? Between cutting, because preparing takes up more time. And then, you know, when you get in front of the machine, that's the part that kind of go a little bit quick, assuming nothing goes wrong. And wrong meaning threading, all the stuff, you know, needle breaking, whatever, you know, you may have something wrong setting or whatever that could kind of set you back. But 35 is when I decided to go in full throttle. So I remember, what was it, the end of 2022, I went ahead, I want to say, was it in December or November? I don't know, something like that. But anyway, I bought a sewing machine. I went to Michael's and I bought a Singer sewing machine. And, you know, it's a Fashion Made, of course. And I was like, you know what? I really want to just really get involved in this. I really want to do the right thing with sewing. And I started from there. So I've used patterns before, but I wasn't fond of patterns because I like trendy fashion clothing. That's what makes me different from most of the sewists on here, is I'm more into trendier pieces. So most trendy, I haven't seen any trendy pieces that's in the shape of a pattern. It's more so like classic pieces, classic styles and stuff like that. Now, as far as pattern hacking, which we're not going to get into in this video, if you do a pattern hack, you can achieve some of those pieces. Like I even did it with the Zara silhouette dress, with the denim tube top dress that I make, which is in my Etsy store. Link is below. I had to pattern hack. Now the prototype that I made, it was just like me freestyling with my body, but people wanted to buy them from me, so I had to make sure it was consistent. So I had to pattern hack for that. And the dress that I had to pattern hack looks nothing like, it just had the same silhouette. So, but yeah, that's with pattern hacking. But I never really used pattern. So everything I did was just off of imagination and the Lord leading my hands. Because, you know, it just is what it is. Pattern typically, unless I haven't came across it, I don't think trendy patterns really exist. And that's something which I hope to change in the future. But anyway, that's the thing with that. That's my sewing story. What's going on with me now, and the reason, because I do sew pieces. I do sew for hire. And again, my store is Etsy, so everything that I sew is in my Etsy store. I sew it I make it to order. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to, because again, if you just heard my story. So it's been not like a consistent thing, especially with a machine. It's been off and on with a machine. And I just want to make sure that my skills are like locked in solid. So that's the reason why I am sewing myself right now. Most people would just hire people to sew for them. I don't want to do that. I want to sew for myself. And yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I've been enjoying my sewing journey, and it's just been fun. It's been fun. Just learning new techniques and things like that. I've been tailoring. I had a lot of customers that like their items tailored, upsized, because I get a lot of people, again, because I'm like more so of a trendy girl. So I get a lot of customers that buy pieces from Zara, but they can't quite fit it. So they'll send it to me and I'll go ahead and make it, upsize it for them. So it's just been different things like that, that I've been doing as far as the alteration or tailoring side of things. But yeah, I've been learning different techniques, and I've just been really indulging in all things sewing and just pretty much just embracing, because I'm a student. You know, I'm still a student. You know, I consider myself a student, even though I have been doing this off and on since I've been the second grade, but I'm still a student. And I just love all things sewing. It's fun. It's fun because, you know, if you're new to sewing, I'm just going to give you some things that you probably want to learn like yesterday. Something that I didn't know, and that was because I didn't invest enough time in the beginning. You know, when I started sewing with my miniature machine, when my parents bought it, my grandma and my mom bought me one back in, what was it, 2010-ish. I didn't know that there was a certain thread and certain needle depending on the project or the fabric. Didn't know that. So these are like little things that I'm learning, and that's why I said if you're new to sewing or you're thinking about sewing, that's probably step number one that you want to start. You want to start getting familiar with your fabrics, and you want to get familiar with your needles, sizes, and threads to use to accompany that, because you don't want to tear up your machine. So if you're new, you're thinking about getting into sewing, you want to OD on that information right about now. And I'm dead serious, because again, you do not want to tear up your machine. You don't want to get, you don't want to feel like you're not doing anything right, because if you don't have the right needle size, you don't have the right thread, your work will come out janky and you will get discouraged. And it's just a simple, because that's what happened to me. Now, I didn't get discouraged because I like sewing, so I had to figure it out. But if you just kind of want to learn it as a pastime, you probably would get discouraged. But I didn't know that it was a certain, because you got cotton thread, you got polyester thread, you got silks, you got as far as the needle sizes, you got the little Microtech, you got the denim needles, you got needles for everything. Because just try to sew, because you know a sewing machine come with needles, so try using that trying to sew some denim. You're gonna be mad because you're gonna keep getting that from your sewing machine, because it keep hesitating because the denim is just too thick for that little bit of needle, or if it does go through, eventually after a few stitches it's going to break. You don't want that. So that's one of the first lessons that you probably want to OD on really quick. It's a lot of YouTube videos on here describing that, and if you want, I can make a video on it. Okay guys, so enough chatting. That wraps up my YouTube video. I just wanted to give you a brief overview as to what started my sewing journey, how I got started. It's only right, being that this is a new channel, to kind of let you know a little bit about me. Hope to see you in the next video. I am on Instagram at It's Chelsea Jackson. You can shop my items on Shop It's Chelsea Jackson or my Etsy page below. And I also have a second YouTube channel, which I talk about fashion, travel, and lifestyle. And that's It's Chelsea Jackson. I'll link everything below. See you in the next video. Bye.
Look at this. Oh, perfect.